So for this video, guys, we'll look at wide receiver under. And I like this play because it's got some unique routes to it that I want to kind of discuss. The first one is going to be this B route. It's really kind of short in, speed in, so it does get across the field pretty quickly. And then a second one is this A route. It's actually a really quick outbreaking corner route, but I'm going to use it as a short post when we move it to the left. So what I like to do this play is I like to max protect. I like to put the RB on a streak that's coming out of the backfield. And a lot of times when somebody does that out of the backfield, they kind of get a lot of the initial attention on them. They're trying to figure out why you have him coming out of the backfield. He's more of a decoy than anything. Then we're going to put the X on a drag. And it's going to look like this until you move the corner to the left-hand side. And it's going to turn into a post. And what we're going to do is just going to work the high-low between him and basically the X receiver on the right-hand side with the ability to throw it to the B if the user goes and kind of commits that way. So the first route you're always going to look for is this X receiver. You always want to take the unders first, right? So the X receiver comes underneath. Anybody covering him? No. Let's throw it to him. Let's get our 5 or 6 yards. Dink and dunk down the field. You want to force the user to have to come underneath to cover that. Once they start coming underneath is when you're really going to look for this A receiver across the field, right? So we're going to look at it like this. We're going to move it over, and you're going to see that you've got that ability to hike it here. And X comes over here, B's coming underneath. You see that you got enough time. You're going to throw it to this A receiver, okay? He is the guy that you're looking for when it comes to the short post. Now, you can always put this B also on a slant. And what that's going to do is going to give you a little bit more of that, meta where the slant goes all the way across. But this is going to be one that's going to be a little bit less of that type deal. But it will at least give yourself an opportunity to kind of show that, right? So if somebody's looking at that, they're like, which way do I cover? Do I cover the slant coming across? That looks like a short post. Do I show this one? And kind of see how you're going to be able to throw it to that guy over there, right? So that's what you're trying to create, is that short post look with that. I kind of like the double drags because I feel like I've got a little bit more opportunity to, at least have some dump off passes, but you can definitely do that with the slant as well. So that's basically how that would work. That was against cover 3 that I was showing you earlier. Let's go ahead against cover 2. And a lot of times what they'll do is something like this. And again, you're just going to dump underneath. The X is open, the B is open. I moved that guy over, so I'm just going to throw this ball away. You want to move the player over in order to get the high-low, right? So let's do this again with these guys here. Let's do cover 2. And, basically like this, right? So we're going to max protect, RB streak, X on the drag, move this guy over. And you're just going to work the high-low. This guy's going to get behind that player, right? Now, the difference is with cover 2 is that a lot of times that player is going to get bumped. And I want to make sure you see this. And when they get bumped, it just makes it to where, one, you're going to know that it's cover 2, okay? So when this guy gets bumped, this is the first thing I'm looking at. If that guy gets bumped, they're typically going to be in a cover 2. He, by getting bumped, is going to take him a little bit longer to go across the field. So you're going to want to know that, because in that instance, you can see how he's open right here in the middle of the field. Typically, you want to read the user. If the user is staying in the middle, then you're going to want to throw it to one of these guys underneath right away, because the user in this instance is typically going to be the right middle linebacker, right? So if he goes here, just in this instance, he goes right because I'm not controlling him, but he's going to have to choose one of these guys underneath right away. And typically, I'm going to hit this cross a little bit earlier, and I want to kind of show you what I mean by that, okay? So a good rule of thumb of knowing that it is against cover 2, if you see your guy get bumped, you want to kind of change your mentality a little bit. Maybe I want to throw it to him earlier. So say I'm doing it something like this, to where this guy is going to end up covering the left player, right? So this is basically the thought process here. And typically what's going to end up happening, they're going to go to the right, the streak first, and then kind of go that way. So if he gets bumped, now you're going to wait and you're going to throw it to him underneath a lot earlier. You're not going to wait for him to go all the way over to the right-hand side of the field, because what's going to end up happening, if you want to see it here in instant replay, is a lot of times they're going to cover this running back out of the backfield first, because I'm only doing it with 2, and then they're going to end up on the right side of the field like this, okay? And I'm doing that because in this instance, they're going to be on the right side of the field. That's when you want to go ahead and throw it as he passes that player right about the left hash mark. See how that works? So if your first read is, does my guy get bumped? Then you should think here, do I go ahead, look at the user, can I throw something quick, which they could, like underneath? If not, then you want to go and see, can you throw this ball earlier here? If you miss those two reads, he definitely will get open on the right side of the screen, on the right side of the numbers. But I just want to kind of give you a little bit of a high level look at what you should be looking at, right? So you know that the guy gets bumped. You should know it's cover two. Your mind should be, okay, underneath right away. If not, let's hit that guy a little bit earlier, right in the middle of the field, and get that throw. So that's basically how I like to run this play. That's kind of how it works against cover two and cover three. But the more you get familiar with it, the more you're going to be able to read that a misdirect by the defender typically will mean cover two, and you're going to have that opportunity to kind of change the timing of your throws.